Oh, what is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my PrizePicks Breakdown video for UFC 303. We have Alex Pereira going against Yuri Prochazka 2. And yeah, looking forward to this card. International Fight Week. We have a stacked card from top to bottom, and I'm liking this card. And I'm liking it from a PrizePicks perspective as well. There are 9 plays we're going to talk about today. Before we get into, if you guys could do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel. It is always much appreciated. Be sure to check out dfsbythenumbers.com. That's where you'll find the rest of my content, along with my PrizePicks article and entry, which is going to be up by the time you guys see this video. And if you guys are new to PrizePicks and want to check it out, use promo code DFSBTN and get yourself a 100% deposit match up to $100. And this video is brought to you by Daily Grind Fantasy. If you guys are into PrizePicks and Underdog, check out Daily Grind Fantasy. They take the lines from the sports books and they give you the most plus EV spots on Underdog, PrizePicks, and they have a bunch of different daily fantasy sites, some sites I never even heard of either, as well, like Sleepers on there, just every daily fantasy site you can imagine. And then also they have multiple sports. It's not just UFC, they have every sport, even sports that I didn't even know were sports. So check it out. Use promo code DFSBTN and get 25% off your first month. All right, let's get into it. And we're going to start with the free square. You know, I love a free square. We had a free square for the UFC 300 card. We had a free square for the Islam Makhachev Dustin Poirier fight as well. I think Poirier to land 1 strike. And yeah, we got another free square here. It's Alex Pereira to land more than 0.5 significant strikes. And I think he does. I mean, I think it's that simple. You know, when we get these free squares, we got to take advantage. So I'm putting it in my entry for this week. Simple as that. Mark it down. If it doesn't hit, there's a problem. Next, we got Peyton Talbot, more than 53.5 significant strikes. Peyton Talbot is a extremely high volume striker, landing 8.05 significant strikes per minute. This is a guy in Peyton Talbot who has all of his wins outside of the first round. I think he has 1 decision win, which was on the Contender Series. Other than that, it's round 2 and round 3 finishes. So as long as Gamorre is able to survive, say, the first 7.5 minutes, I think that's more than enough time for Peyton Talbot to go out there, put on an absolute clinic, and crush this number, 53.5. So give me the more on Peyton Talbot, 53.5. I don't expect him to finish Gamorre early. Of course, it's on the table, I suppose. But like I said, when Talbot's winning fights, it's typically once the fight gets into the 2nd or 3rd round. Moving on, we have Ricky Simón. On the fight time, I am taking the less for Ricky Simón fight time here. I think it's a violent fight here. He's going against Vinicius Oliveira, who's a very violent fighter. Vinicius Oliveira is a guy that, and we saw that in his UFC debut, how violent Vinicius Oliveira can be. But Vinicius Oliveira has 23 professional fights. 21 of those 23 have finished inside the distance. Vinicius Oliveira is a kill or be killed fighter. And I think Ricky Simón has some paths to finish here. We saw what Bernardo Sapai was able to do in that 1st and 2nd round, where Sapai was able to take down Oliveira, get into very dominant positions, and I think Ricky Simón can do exactly that. I think Ricky Simón's live for a sub as this fight goes on. I think even like on the feet, Ricky Simón's live for a knockout. And then yeah, once this fight is standing and at range, Vinicius Oliveira is absolutely live to knock out Ricky Simón, who's been knocked out multiple times and who's been knocked out by Uriah Faber as well. So yeah, I think there's a lot of ways for this fight to finish. I think there's a lot of ways for this fight to go less than 12.5 minutes. So give me the Ricky Simón less than 12.5 minutes on this fight here. Next, we have one that this has gotten smashed throughout the week. I think it opened up like 67, 68. And it got smashed to 56. Like, that's a big move, and I still think it could be less here. Like, I really do. Like, Ian Gary less than 56.5 significant strikes. I gave this one out on my full card prediction video, and I think I gave it out at it was like 67, something like that. So yeah, I think this fight, like, if this fight's at range, right? Ian Gary's not, I don't see him landing at like 57 significant strikes here. It's so hard to hit Michael Page. Michael Page is one of these guys who has a very unique style, first and foremost. He's either all the way in or all the way out, but most of the time he's all the way out. He's very elusive. He's very hard to hit. So yeah, at range, I don't see a ton of volume happening either side. And then on top of that, I feel like this fight has some paths to finish. I think either guy's live to land a big shot and get a knockout. And then also, I think Ian Gary can get takedowns here And if Ian Gary's getting takedowns, this is definitely going less than 56.5. So, yeah, with the sneaky finishing upside, I truly believe there's a good chance this fight could finish on either side. And just with the style of MVP especially, I think it's going to be tough for Ian Gary to get 57 significant strikes here. So hopefully you guys got in on it like earlier in the week, but still like at 56.5, I still think it's too high. So give me the less. Next we have Alex Pereira. We're going on with another fight time here. It's going to be Alex Pereira, less than 9.75 minutes fight time. And yeah, this is a Alex Pereira, Yuri Prochazka fight. I think somebody's getting served here. I think both guys have incredible offensive firepower. And I think both of these guys lack striking defense and just defense in general. Like Alex Pereira, a 50% striking defense, which is not great at all. Yuri Prochazka, a 41% striking defense, which I'm shocked it's even that high. And I kind of expected it to be even lower because he doesn't really block any punches at all. I mean, he's blocking punches with his face, but that's about it. So, yeah, I think somebody gets served here. I personally think the fight's ending in the second round, like most Yuri Prochazka fights do. I think all but one of his fights in the UFC have finished in that second round. And it's pretty much because the first round's kind of feeling out-ish process, but once that second round hits, it just seems like Yuri throws the game plan out the window, goes complete madman, and the fight then finishes shortly after. So I think this fight ends in the second round, and if that's the case, this is going less than 9.75 minutes on the fight time. All right, next we have Martin Buday, less than 88.5 fantasy score. This fight could get gross. It could get very gross. There could be not a lot going on here. At range, I feel like it could be very low volume, but what Martin Buday does in a ton of his fights is just, and what he probably should do here is just push his opponent up against the cage. Use his 6'4", 265-pound frame and just wear on Andrei Arlovski, extend this fight. And he's done that. He's done that in the Chris Barnett fight. He's done that on the Contender Series as well. And I think that would probably be, it should be the case here. Because if he doesn't do that, he's probably losing the fight. So, and if he does do that, like how I think he's going to fight, this is definitely going less. Unless he like finishes Arlovski early. But even then, I kind of think if there's a finish, it comes later in the fight. So I'm going Buday less. Like this, he could score just completely terribly unless he does finish Arlovski, like I said. But yeah, I think there's just a lot more ways for this to go less than to go more. All right, next we have Ray Saruya, more than 3 takedowns. This was set at 2.5, and it has been bumped up to 3. But that's fine. I still think he gets more than 3 because that's all he does in all of his fights. I haven't seen this guy land like one strike at range. He's literally shooting in for a takedown within the first 10 seconds of the fight. And that's kind of got to be the game plan. And the thing with Carlos Hernandez is his takedown defense is not good, which I think that's going to be good for the takedowns here. But his scrambling ability, his get-up game is pretty good. So I think that's only going to lead to more takedowns. I guess what you got to worry about here is a potential submission, early submission from Saruya. But outside of that, I think this guy's going to wrestle consistently. I think this guy can like get triple than 3. I think he can get 9, 10 takedowns if he really wants them here. So yeah, I mean 3 outside of an early sub, which again it could be on the table. I think he smashes this and gets a lot more than 3, especially if this fight goes 15. Like he's getting a lot more than 3. That's all he does is just wrestle. Next we have another takedown spot here. Andre Fili, less than 1.5 takedowns. In theory, I guess he could wrestle. It's just he hasn't in like years. Like the last time Andre Fili wrestled was against Charles Jourdain like 4 or 5 years, I think 5 years ago at this point. It's just not something he wants to do. I guess it's in his back pocket, but even then, I feel like these guys are going to stand and bang. I feel like this fight finishes as well. So yeah, give me the less than 1.5 takedowns for Andre Fili. I think these guys are going to strike. And then finally, Ian Gary on the fantasy score. Kind of like the significant strikes. Like this fight could be just awful. And on top of that, I'm not even convinced like Gary wins this fight. I'm picking him to win with little to no confidence. Page could potentially knock him out. So I just think there's a lot of ways for this to go less. If I had to pick between the fantasy score or the significant strikes, I think it would lean the significant strikes. But because Gary, I guess, could grapple here. But yeah, at 77.5, I feel like in a win, this goes less more often than not. So give me the less on the Ian Gary fantasy score. And there you guys have it. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you guys have. If I missed anything, if you guys are liking something, Be sure to check out dfsbythenumbers.com. That's where you'll find all my content. If you guys want to check out PrizePicks, use that promo code DFSBTN and get a 100% deposit match up to $100. Make sure you guys get that free square in as well. And yeah, guys, best of luck for UFC 303. Enjoy the card. Should be a fun one. See you.